Dixon. Also, the judge in Blake Lively's case just slapped down their psychopathic request for 2.5 years worth.
Breaking news, Justin Baldoni just got a big win, meaning Blake Lively got a big loss. Blake?
Absolutely a win for Justin, and you're absolutely right, Andy, in your interpretation of the document. What they said is basically they told you to go, you have to go meet and confer and to even come up with more narrow requests. They went and met and conferred, and they said they were going to get rid of the request to the extent it said.
Hollywood is in shock. Blake Lively, the golden girl of the industry, finds herself at the heart of a legal storm that threatens to shatter her spotless reputation. Accusations, counter-accusations, a judge's unexpected ruling, and now the entire entertainment. Industry is on edge. Blake's case is crumbling. Her credibility is in tatters. And what about Ryan Reynolds, the charming Hollywood icon, her husband? He's caught in the chaos too. So what led Blake Lively to this moment? And what does this bombshell ruling mean for her future? Stay locked in as we dive into every jaw-dropping detail of this high-stakes battle, where each revelation keeps us clinging to the edge of our seats. Justin Baldoni's lawyer, Brian Fredman, hinted at something big when...
I'm not asking anyone to not believe anyone. I am more than willing to take every single text message that exists out there, lay them out, put them on a website for the world to see, have them see the truth and determine the truth for themselves.
Insisted that all parties should lay their cards on the table. Now, shocking reports confirm that during court proceedings, leaked audio was played, and it's something Blake and Ryan allegedly tried to bury. They never saw this coming. The world is watching the courtroom drama unfold in real time, and suddenly it seems like Justin Baldoni might have the upper hand. Public intrigue is at an all-time high. The March 4th, 2025 hearing took a dramatic turn. Blake Lively's legal team, led by Meryl Giskai, pushed for a protective order. They wanted to block the release of certain evidence, including private communications between Lively and some of Hollywood's biggest names. Their argument, the exposure of these conversations, could create unnecessary harm to people not directly tied to the case. But the request triggered a fierce debate. How much privacy is too much when the stakes are this high? Whispers are growing louder about Lively's alleged bullying personality.
But I see a bully a bully attacking somebody. The bully being Blake Lively and our powerful lawyers. And thank goodness Justin's got support to be able to fight back this time, because it is shocking the lengths that Team Blake will go to gaslight us all.
Baldoni's legal team wasted no time opposing the motion. They claimed the existing protective order was enough and that Blake Lively should not get special treatment just because she's a celebrity. Their argument: transparency is key. Secrecy has no place in a courtroom. Drama of this magnitude. Then came the judge's move. Judge Lewis Lyman, presiding over the case, delivered a brutal takedown of Lively's attorneys. If Blake thought she was prepared to crush Baldoni in court that day, the judge's reaction must have shaken her to the core. Reports say that, right there in the middle of the courtroom, Blake Lively had a full-on breakdown, and it wasn't pretty. Her attorneys looked visibly embarrassed. The confident aura she and her team had when entering the courtroom completely shattered. But what really turned heads was the judge's response to their request. One hard look at their arguments, and he didn't hold back. He called Blake's legal team's request outright stupid. Yes, you heard that, right? Stupid. Humiliation didn't stop there. Oh no, this legal firestorm is far from over. Thanks to the judge's ruling, everything is about to become public. Brace yourself, because on Thursday, March 13th, 2025, a live audio feed of the court hearing will be broadcasted to the world.
There, that very touching tribute. Also, in the Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni universe, a judge is allowing the internet to join court. Not entirely for the whole court case, but for this Thursday, we'll be sharing live audio, not video, just audio of what goes down. We can get a...
What does that mean? It means no more secrets, no more hiding. The whole world gets a front row seat to the courtroom showdown that could change everything for Blake Lively. Wouldn't that be something? I mean, I can't wait till Thursday. And I know you feel the same way. This time, Blake and Ryan won't be able to spin any more PR stunts or hide behind clever distractions. Whatever unfolds in court will be broadcasted live, raw, unfiltered, and undeniable. No scripted statements, no damage control, just the truth blasting through the court's speakers for the whole world to witness. Blake Lively walked into this battle thinking she held all the cards, demanding injunctions, throwing out subpoenas, left and right, but little did she know, the walls were closing in. And now, the entire Hollywood industry is watching as her carefully curated public image crumbles before their eyes. And speaking of crumbling, where does Ryan Reynolds fit into all this? We've seen him standing by Blake's side, smiling, supporting, playing the doting husband. But why does it feel like he's not just supporting her, but enabling her? Flashback to the SNL 50th anniversary special.
I have a question.
Oh, hey, Ryan Reynolds.
Hi.
Hey. Ryan Reynolds, how's it going?
Great. Why? What have you heard?
There was Ryan, laughing along with Blake, the picture-perfect Hollywood couple. But behind the cameras, things weren't as picture-perfect as they seemed, because while the world saw a charming power couple, the legal system saw something else entirely: allegations, lawsuits, and a battle that's now spiraling out of control. And here's where things take a dramatic turn. Justin Baldoni isn't just fighting Blake in court anymore. He's going after Ryan Reynolds, too. That's right. Reynolds has officially been dragged into the storm, with Baldoni slapping him with a lawsuit of his own. Justin Baldoni is suing both Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds for a staggering $400 million in damages, accusing them of defamation and extortion. And it all started with one explosive complaint. In December, Blake Lively reported to the California Civil Rights Department, claiming that she suffered severe emotional distress due to sexual harassment and a coordinated smear campaign.
There's a lot to get to in this half an hour, and we're going to start with the legal battle we've been paying a close eye on. This is between former co-stars Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni.
Yeah, their film, It Ends With Us, made more than $350 million worldwide. But the actors say behind the scenes, there was anything but movie magic. And now
Orchestrated by Baldoni and certain cast members with the help of his production company. She made shocking demands: no more explicit discussions on set, no inappropriate jokes, no references to her late father. But here's where things get messy. None of these demands became a lawsuit until one crucial moment. Blake's legal battle began only after Baldoni sued the New York Times for publishing her complaint. That's when everything exploded.
This is going someplace. You trust me. I'll get us there. So she says he's been harassing her, and they bring in some team, and he says, whatever you want, I will do it or not do it. You tell me. So they go forward.
Followed was a courtroom war. Blake and Ryan allegedly playing dirty, twisting narratives and pushing for extreme legal actions. Blake demanded sweeping court orders, pushing the case into chaos instead of resolution. And speaking of chaos, let's talk about Blake Lively's outrageous demands. Her legal team demanded 2.5 years' worth of Justin Baldoni's personal records, texts, calls, doctor visits, GPS locations, everything.
Basically, they told you to go, you have to go meet and confer and see even come up with more narrow requests. They went and met and conferred, and they said they were going to get rid of the request to the extent it said all documents related to blank, and they just wanted the phone records. And the court said no. The court said that could include therapists, doctors, friends, colleagues, business people. It's way too broad. And so what he did is he sent him back to the drawing board and said, you got to go meet and confer again. You could serve a more narrowly tailored.
It wasn't just about proving her claims. It was an all-out invasion of privacy, a legal ambush. I mean, what was she hoping to find? A secret confession buried in a text from 2 years ago? Because honestly, this level of obsession screams FBI-level stalking.
This has always kind of been bothering me in the back of my mind, is that Megan Twohey says in her article that Blake Lively obtained all of these text messages through subpoena. Okay, what's subpoena? You can only issue a subpoena if you have an open legal case. So you have to have a valid legal case. I can't just issue a subpoena to, the New York Times.
Even Judge Lyman had enough. He shut down Blake's absurd demands, calling them overly intrusive and completely irrelevant. In legal terms, a hard no. The judge practically called out her legal team for acting like fools,
Also, the judge in Blake Lively's case just slapped down their psychopathic request for 2.5 years worth of every message that,
saying their request had zero legal standing and was nothing more than a desperate attempt to control the case. Blake wanted full-scale surveillance on Baldoni's life, but the judge made it clear this isn't a Hollywood script and she doesn't get to call the shots. And if you thought things couldn't get any worse for Blake, they absolutely can. Remember that live audio feed I mentioned? The one set to be aired on Thursday, March 13th?
Court. Not entirely for the whole court case, but for this Thursday, we'll be sharing live audio, not video, just audio of what goes down.
Yeah, Blake Lively's courtroom meltdown will be out there for the entire world to hear. Reports say that during the latest court session, Blake completely lost it, whispering frantically to her. Lawyers, visibly panicking, and even shaking as she realized her legal tricks weren't working. Her whole case was built on deception, and now the truth is catching up with her. And on Thursday, when the world listens in, there will be no more hiding, no more controlling the narrative, no more secrets, because this Hollywood scandal, it's about to blow wide open. Yikes. Now, Blake Lively and her team couldn't afford to let the world see them as losers. So, what did they do? Despite the humiliation, from the judge's ruling, they stood tall and tried to turn their shame into a win by manipulating the media. Lively attempted to spin an obvious failure into a, "yeah, I meant to do that" moment. She tried to convince the public that what happened in court wasn't as it seemed. Talk about deception. How egotistical can you be to refuse to take the loss and move on? Lively thrives on her massive ego and has once again failed to give credit where it's due. Things took an even worse turn when the judge flipped the script, using Lively's own words against her. The humiliation just kept piling on. Judge
Bad with PR responses. Like this, it just blows my mind how dumb Blake Lively's team is and how just, I guess, egocentric, maniacal that she thinks that she can tell the world.
Cited Lively's own lawsuit and pointed out how she had contradicted herself so badly that her legal request made no sense. One might expect that during all this embarrassment, Lively's husband, Hollywood heartthrob Ryan Reynolds, would be by her side. But nope, Ryan has vanished. No witty remarks, no supportive gestures. Blake's once reliable support system has suddenly gone AWOL. Our dear Ryan has ghosted everyone, including his own wife. And honestly, I don't blame him. If I were in his shoes, I'd probably do the same. It's bad enough that Blake's legal team failed spectacularly in court.
Bad look of her if she's trying to tell the courts that we should stop talking about this in public?
Yeah, well, I think this was the equivalent of a swing and a miss, right? I think they went for a home run, they make a big swing, and they completely missed the ball. I think they're going to get sent back to the drawing board. This is not going to be the end of it. You're going to see that there's going to be more. In fact, the judge invites them to do it.
But instead of cutting their losses, they doubled down.
Another way Blake may have tried to
instead of retreating with what was left of Lively's dignity,
is when she
they filed even more subpoenas.
That Justin
How
was
foolish can they be?
She dressed
Honestly, I wouldn't be proud to parade this team of legal misfits as my attorneys.
What happened.
Been bothering me in the back of my mind is that Megan Twohey says in her article that Blake Lively obtained all of these text messages through subpoena. Okay, what's subpoena? You can only issue a subpoena if you have an open legal case. So you have to have a valid legal case. I can't just issue a subpoena.
Even Lively, the self-proclaimed mastermind, must be embarrassed by them. They kept throwing application after application at the court, hoping something would stick. But the judge wasn't having any of it. He made it crystal clear that their legal circus had no place in his courtroom. If Blake has learned anything from this ordeal, it should be that. Letting your ego get bigger than your head is a disaster. Hiring incompetent lawyers is a mistake. Hollywood. Power means nothing in a courtroom, especially not in Judge Lyman's. She probably thought she could intimidate her way to a favorable ruling, but the judge put her in her place. Now, things are only going downhill from here. The public sees right through her, and the legal system won't tolerate her antics any longer. Worse yet, her reputation, and possibly her husband's, is in free fall. Lively and her team actually believed their influence extended into the courtroom, so they made outrageous demands for access to Justin Baldoni's personal life. Every single detail from his meals to his whereabouts for the past 2 years. Crazy, right? It's clear this wasn't about justice. She was just trying to dig up dirt on Baldoni. Why else would she demand emails from Wayfarer Studios, his production company, dating back 3 years? It makes no sense. And in the end, it all backfired. Instead of uncovering any dirt, she walked away with even more public disgrace. The irony? The judge did grant her access to some records, but only 4 months' worth instead of the 2.5 years she originally demanded. August 2024 to December 2024. Honestly, the judge was being generous. Lively got a small window to snoop through Baldoni's records, but guess what she found? Absolutely nothing. That's what happens when you try to abuse the legal system for personal gain. When the person you're targeting is as clean as Baldoni, you come up empty-handed. And just when Blake thought she could control the narrative, the truth came out, and it only got worse. A leaked recording from Ari Emanuel, CEO of WME, also known as Endeavor Group Holdings, exposed what might be Hollywood's biggest cover-up of the year.
You could tell us about a little bit of a mess that I gather you've been involved in.
Oh, yeah. I know where you're going with this one.
Do you have notes on it?
Oh, yeah. Those are the two things I said to myself. This could come up.
Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds weren't just bystanders in Baldoni's Hollywood blacklisting. They were the masterminds behind it. Shocking, right? And that's not even the worst part. Who is Ari Emanuel? He runs WME, Hollywood's most powerful agency. And in the leaked recording, he openly admitted that he personally made sure Justin Baldoni was fired because Ryan and Blake demanded it. Can you imagine? This means the power couple didn't just stand by and watch Baldoni lose everything. They made it happen. If that wasn't bad enough, more leaked recordings revealed even more disturbing details. Ari Emanuel didn't even have the decency to refer to Baldoni by his real name. He mockingly called him Baloney. Imagine finding out that your own agent got you blacklisted and then ridiculed you behind your back. At this point, the truth is out, and there's no coming back for Blake Lively. And just when you think Blake Lively couldn't sink any lower, she takes things up a notch. Now that her attempts at covering up the truth have failed miserably, she's resorting to her last-ditch effort, playing the victim like her life depends on it. It's almost laughable how the tables have turned. Just a few months ago, she was parading herself as the noble, innocent Hollywood darling wrongfully attacked by the so-called villain, Justin Baldoni. But now she's the mastermind of one of the biggest Hollywood smear campaigns, and the evidence against her is overwhelming. The leaked recordings, the secret dealings.
Blake Lively is caught in old footage revealing that, yes, her secret plan is to always take control of the movies and lie to the directors.
Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds have hired former CIA agents with a proven track record of lying to the public, gaslighting the public, to help her with PR. Also, they moved to do this with
the CIA involvement. Blake knows her brand is in freefall, and she's grasping at anything to salvage what's left of her public image. But here's the thing. People aren't buying it anymore. The public isn't blind, and the internet never forgets. Every new attempt at damage control only backfires spectacularly, exposing even more of her dirty dealings. Reports are now surfacing about how she's been pulling strings behind the scenes for years, sabotaging careers, manipulating narratives, and ensuring she always came out on top. But with this Justin Baldoni scandal, she bit off more than she could chew. She underestimated the power of receipts, and now she's scrambling. And speaking of scrambling, word on the street is that she's working on a tell-all documentary, trying to twist the narrative in her favor. How predictable. Every disgraced celebrity's go-to move: create a heavily curated, selectively edited documentary that paints them as the misunderstood victim. But let's be real. Who's falling for that? The evidence is too damning, and no amount of carefully crafted PR spin can erase the facts. Meanwhile, Justin Baldoni is out here thriving, booking new projects, gaining more industry support, and proving that he was never the villain in this story. People are rallying behind him, demanding justice, and calling out Hollywood's toxic elites. Blake Lively tried to bury him, but instead, she buried herself. And as if the universe itself is delivering karma, more insiders are coming forward, sharing disturbing stories about her ruthless behind-the-scenes behavior. A former assistant just revealed how Blake used her influence to blacklist multiple rising stars she saw as competition. Another insider claims she had a hand in shutting down entire productions just because things didn't go her way. And let's not forget the shady financial dealings that are now being investigated. It's all crumbling down, and the best part? She did it to herself. Stay tuned, because this Hollywood takedown is far from over.